that's something for us to consider, to think about. And then, as this parable directs us, it's something for us to forget about, to let go of. You see, the beautiful thing about this parable is it's not for us to decide. This parable says that all, the good, the bad, perhaps even the ugly, rest in God's hands and not ours. It's not about us casting judgment on anyone else, or looking down the pew, or looking out into the larger world and telling people exactly how bad or inappropriate or wrong they are. But rather, the focus is turned back to us. And the question becomes, how are we allowing the good fruit to flourish in our lives? Over the course of the last 125 years, there have been this long stream of theologians who have challenged us to listen to the parables as they relate to us. From Rudolf Bultmann to Crossan. There is a sense that the parables are a call to action for us. And this parable is not a call to action in terms of judgment, but rather, how are the seeds of God planted in our lives, and how are we going to bear this incredible fruit that ushers in, that welcomes the realm, the reign of God? That becomes our question in this parable. As we hear from Paul in his writing, we are the ones who hold these first fruits of the Spirit. There are these incredible gifts that flow forth from the people of God. And we live into that richly, wonderfully. What happens when, instead of looking around in the congregation or even in the larger world and working to find the wrong, the inappropriate, the mean, we look around and we look at the gifts that are present in our lives and in God's world, taking shape here and now? What happens when our lens becomes one of incredible beauty and giftedness, lifting up who we are as a people of God? That becomes a place where we might tap into this next generation more richly, more fully. You see, they have struggled with the hypocrisy that they have seen in the world, in politics, and even in the church. And they're looking for something new. And what happens when they begin to see fruit being made real in incredible ways? Now, I will be quite honest. Being here at Calvary, I have not seen or noticed that same nitpickiness or frustration or, look at what so-and-so is doing that I have experienced in other places. In fact, I have seen an incredible amount of call to be community, and I have seen fruits flourish in other people's lives. And it's a wonderful gift because in that context, I feel like I am also being challenged to let my fruit come up in new and wonderful ways. And well, when it comes to love winning, I'm pretty sure that happens. And this whole idea of heaven and hell and the fate of every person who ever lived, well, that doesn't rest in my hands or your hands. Ultimately, it is about a God who plants the seeds, who calls us into action, and invites us to flourish, to let our fruits shine forth. What a lesson. What a parable. And what a teacher for whom we give thanks. This Jesus of Nazareth, a rabbi, one who hopes, who plants, and calls us into action.